author of The Last Living Slut, Born in Iran, Bred Backstage. You hold a master's degree in English. You lecture at women's conferences on the subject of gender and identity. Tell me how some of that came about.
Well, first of all, it's great to be on your show, and
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. And you sound very lovely.
Oh, thank you.
And you look very sexy too.
I think you're sexy. I loved your book, and I'm really behind what you said, and a lot of sexuality and power with women. So I was like, I gotta have her on the show.
Oh, thanks. Well, I just wanted to speak about, in all honesty, and just completely talk about how women are viewed and the kind of double standards and how crazy it is to have these double standards. In answer to your question, I mean, I used to speak at a lot of women's conferences about gender issues. I started off talking about child sexual abuse in third world countries because, as you can imagine, in those countries it's very taboo to talk about anything to do with women, even though it's not their fault. I don't know whether you watched the news recently, but like a girl who was raped in, I think, Somalia, sexual abuse in third world countries, because as you can imagine, in those countries it's very taboo to talk about anything to do with women, even though it's not their fault. I don't know whether you watched the news recently, but like a girl who was raped in, I think, Somalia, which is a Muslim country, she was sentenced to death. I mean, so when I started speaking about these things about Muslim countries, it was all to do with taboo stuff, like, everything is a woman's fault. And I did my master's, and I started to talk about a lot of cultural issues and gender issues and things like that, which led me to start my book.
Well, I love it. I like the message you're sending, and I think it's pretty controversial, but it's definitely blowing up and being talked about all around. Have any of the images on the book been offending people or organizations that have contacted you?
Well, I guess they have. I mean, what I wanted to represent in those images was my two identities. One is the Iranian one that I had to grow up through with my hijab, with my Islamic cover. And the other one is my completely rock and roll sexual wild side, which is the stockings and, wearing like sort of tight bras and tight clothing and things like that. Yes, obviously it offends lots of people. There is people in Muslims who don't like to see a woman like that, which is tough shit, to be quite honest. I can do whatever I want. I just find what I hate is not having freedom of speech. I mean, I'm really all for like being yourself, speaking your mind, not giving into fear and censorship, right? So obviously the feedback I've had has been, some of it has been really, really nice and really supportive, and some of it from some people who are like, you cover yourself up and just really ridiculous bullshit stuff, and things like, Iranian women aren't like this. I'm like, yeah, I know they're not. I'm wild and crazy. It's great, isn't it?
You're fun.
I'm not trying to say I represent all Iranian women. It's like when Madonna first started, she didn't say she's representing all Italian Americans. She was just herself. So
yeah.
I was just being myself,
Exactly. And I loved how you said that sexuality comes from a place of power and confidence. I love, like, sex sells. Everyone wants to look at a sexy woman's body, have fun, be wild. Why do you think so many people are afraid of expressing themselves or seeing women scantily clad and walking around?
Well, I think that people in all societies, in the Western world as well, they it's very, very double standard. It's not very equal. We always strive for women's rights in every direction, but it's very sad that still it's like men are like kind of patted on the back and they're like, you go and do your thing, be a man, get so many chicks, get this and that. And that women, they're very afraid. I mean, it's kind of, you kind of looked at on as a bad person. They're very vilified. They're stigmatized. Women are, the whole word slut is like, it's bad. You're wrong to do that. A man, it's okay to do it, but you're a woman. No, it's bad. And I don't understand the logic in that because we're all human beings. And I think what's really, really weird to me is that why do two sets of rules apply to human beings, different genders? And I was trying to kind of explore those themes and, just write about what makes us, how it defines us as human beings.
Yeah, I hate how a woman can't say.
For women to be sexually experimental.
Exactly. And I was gonna say, I hate how a woman can't say, "Hey, I'm gonna go out with my friends and get laid," but a guy can, and it's completely acceptable.
Yeah, the guy thing.
Yeah,
The
it's
girl thing.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't understand the logic.
no, it doesn't make sense at all. So a couple sites were saying, and I just wanted to clear it up for the record, that you're writing the book to get back at Guns N' Roses Dizzy Reed, and that one other guy, I forgot his name, but he used to be in LA Guns for 2 seconds, and he's kind of washed up and not doing anything now.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, those guys are nothing to me. I mean, I don't understand why I would waste so much energy and time to just get revenge. I think that's quite funny. Obviously, the person who wrote that hasn't read my book because, if anything, if I mean, why would I want to write a book about revenge? I would just write an article or just go and write something on. I wrote the book to show issues and culture issues and stuff about child sexual abuse and things about being sent to England at the age of 10 and the whole rock and roll world. I think I had to write the truth about what happened in my sort of whatever you want to call it, affairs, dates, or whatever, dalliances with these guys. But and hopefully it will show. I've written good things about them too. I mean, people have asked me, what's the best sex, and I think it is probably with Dizzy because I was really in love with him. I'm just going to speak the truth. Yes, he was a really scarily psychotic person, but I'm going to write also that how he was with me was beautiful at times. So
Yeah.
if I wanted to write a revenge book, I would just write horrible stuff about the size of his dick and things like that.
But you're just being completely accurate.
Yeah, I just wanted to be completely exactly how things happened. I saved all his texts and all his emails and all his letters, everything, and I just wanted to paint a really, really accurate picture of how things were.
That's great, though.
In all my life.
So squash those rumors, not true. And
no, it's funny to me.
I know. I mean, hey, if you're on the message boards, I never care if they're good or bad. At least they're talking about you. So,
yeah.
So, do you have any suggestions for women? We're out here in Hollywood, but it's broadcasted everywhere, that are involved with rock stars, whether just sexually or dating them seriously?
Well, I always think about this question because not many people are like me. I kind of don't give a fuck.
I love it.
With my sexuality. And if I advise women, it's just to be themselves. I think, hey, girls out there, if you're into rock guys, if you're into musicians, yeah, by all means, go and have fun. But I think it's a bit unhealthy to think of having relationships with musicians because they're not. I think it's good to have a stable boyfriend who is at home, who doesn't tour all the time, who doesn't rely on strippers to give him money and things like that. Just guys who are stable people, are nice, intelligent, there for you, worship you like a queen. And then you can go and have your fun with musicians. That's because the thing is, I'm very into open relationships. So I'd like to have my safe, lovely boyfriend who loves me at home and he's like the love of my life.
Yeah.
And then I think musicians should be for just a bit of wild fun, and that's it. It's kind of like junk food. You can have a bit of fun, but it's not nutritious.
I love that.